Hello and welcome to Intended Learning Outcome number 2. And this involves being able to present information in a variety of graphical forms such as bar and pie charts using IT. So for Excel example 1 we're going to use some data which I've called simple data, and this example is using data and how to format it. So first of all, open Microsoft Excel and enter the data as in columns A, B and C to the right there in the image. Once you've entered all that data, the next thing to do is click on cell D3. Then, in the f of x formula bar at the top, enter equals to B3 minus C3 and press enter. This will enter minus 10 for the savings bar column D3. So this has done the calculation for the entertainment of the budget 50 minus the expense 60 to show that there isn't actually a saving, that there is an over expenditure of £10, therefore minus 10. So now once this is done, what we're going to do is we're going to click cell D3 again. That's the dark blue highlighted one. Once you click on it, if you hover over the bottom right hand corner of it, hold the mouse button and drag it down to cell D2. So you pull it the whole way down to D2 as shown by the image there. What this will do is this will replicate the formula that you entered in D3 previously, and will replicate it for every one of the rows. So that will be row 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 for each one of the D columns corresponding to it. So to complete the table now, what we have to do is we have to click on cell B10. So how you know which cell number it is that you have the column which is listed at the top, A, B, C and D, and then you have the row number that corresponds with it. So click on cell B10 and then along the toolbars at the top, click on the AutoSum sign, which is denoted by the sigma symbol, and then press enter. And what this will do is this will automatically sum column B3 the whole way down to B9 and give you an answer for it, which should be 430. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same for column C from rows C3 to C9. So click on cell number C10 and then click the AutoSum or sigma totaling number again and press enter. As before, this will enter the total for the expenses column, which should be £370. Now what we're going to do is, once we've done the calculations, what we're looking to do is we're looking to use Excel to plot some different graphs. So we're going to look at ways that we can visually display these numbers that we've entered. So first of all, highlight the 4 columns as shown. So that's from cell A2 down to cell D9. Then, under the Insert tab, so click on the Insert tab, click the column icon and select the first 2D option that appears. The following chart will then appear. Within this chart, you can see that Microsoft Excel has automatically plotted the graph for the budget, expense and saving for each of the household item listed in the table. So the items are listed along the bottom there. We have entertainment, books, groceries, rent, stationery, transportation, utilities, and then we have the amounts listed from 160 down to -20. So once you've done this, we're going to move on to use the same data for drawing a line graph. So as before, select the data from cell A2 down to D9, then click on the Insert tab, then click on Line and select the first option within it. And as before, this will automatically plot the line graph for us. So straight away now we're getting to see the power that's at our fingertips using Microsoft Excel for displaying data. So once you've done this, the next step is to use the same data for completing and drawing a pie chart. As we've done before, we click Insert, then Pie, and then 2D Pie, and our pie chart will automatically be plotted, showing the segments for each of the household expenditure. So now, let's move on to using Excel for more detailed practical examples. So this time, let's retry example 8.3 that we've completed manually before, but this time we're going to use Excel. So the question stated, the resistance in kiloohms of a sample of 40 resistors from a batch was measured as follows. So this is the same data as we had previously. And we want to do now using Excel is we want to find the mean, calculate the standard deviation, and draw the histogram. So the first thing we do is we open Microsoft Excel, open a new spreadsheet, and what we do is, given what we've learned through Excel examples so far, complete the following table using Excel. So along the top, enter the names for each of the columns. So we have range, frequency, midpoint, frequency times midpoint, midpoint minus the mean, midpoint minus the mean multiplied by midpoint minus the mean, which is that value squared. And then the last column is the frequency multiplied by the midpoint minus the mean multiplied by the midpoint minus the mean. So once we've done that, if you enter the values for each of the range, so you have 1.24 to 1.26, then the next row you have 1.27 to 1.29, and so on, entering those values down as far as 1.45 to 1.47. Then, in the second column for the frequency, enter the frequency values. So we have 3, 4, 4, 10, 10, 5, 3, and 1. So then, once you've done that, if you enter the midpoint in the third column, so for example you have 1.25, and repeat that for each of the corresponding rows for each of the data ranges. Then, moving on to the next column, you have the frequency multiplied by the midpoint. So to do that, you can click on the frequency cell, insert a star sign, and then click on the midpoint cell and press enter, and this will automatically enter the frequency times the midpoint value. So if you continue on and completing the table as we've done before to get each of the values. So once we've done this and we've entered the sum values for the frequency and so on, what we want to do is we want to calculate the value for the mean and the standard deviation, and then use Excel to draw the column histogram. So have a go at doing this, and if there's any questions you have, feel free to ask your classmates and they should be able to help you go through it. Likewise, feel free to go and rewind the video and watch some of the earlier slides, which may help you and refresh your memory. So once you have completed this example, if you save it and print off your solutions, so that'll be the table and also your answer to the mean and standard deviation and the histogram, and bring them along with you to next week's class where we'll check your solutions. So we have another example for you here, example 8.5. I want you to use Excel to get the answers for the following example. The electricity used by a factory over a 50-week period is shown below. So we have the electricity consumption between 71 to 79, 80 to 88, 89 to 97, 98 to 106, 107 to 115, 116 to 124, and 125 to 133. Then we have 134 to 142 and 143 to 151. And then we have the number of weeks corresponding to each of those electricity consumption values. So we want you to use Excel to find the mean, find the standard deviation, and draw the histogram. So if you have a go at doing this, and as you're going through it, feel free to check with your classmates to see how you're getting on, how they're getting on, and whether your answers correspond. Once you have done this, save your table, print out your table, print out your histogram and your values for the mean and standard deviation, and your solutions will be checked by Glenn and I in next week's class. this brings us to the end of intended learning outcome 2. So now you can present information in a variety of graphical forms such as bar and pie charts using IT. So well done, you've completed ILO2. The next step now is to go to ILO3 video to play it and go through the examples for it. Thank you.